It's the quarterfinals of The Masked Singer Season 12. We've got 4 left. That will be whittled down to 3 by the end of the night. Let's talk The Masked Singer. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my recap and reaction video for The Masked Singer, the quarterfinals of Season 12. The Wasp still in it, the Goo, Strawberry Shortcake, and the Buffaloes, all taking a stab at hopefully the crown. But only 3 can advance for this week's episode, and there was no theme really. They just sang whatever they wanted to sing, and then even the SmackDown at the end, where the 2 in last place go against each other, wasn't the same song. So everybody was just singing whatever they wanted tonight. Sometimes that works certainly in their favor because they can kind of pick something a little more suited to their voice. And we didn't even start with a song from all 4 of them together. I thought maybe we would get that. But no such luck. Hopefully next week we'll at least get the 3 remaining contestants singing together. But let's get right into it, shall we? But before we do, I guess I should welcome you back to the channel. And if you are one of my subscribers already, awesome, love that. But if you're not, please consider subscribing. Click that notification bell. Click the like button too. That helps the channel tremendously, and it helps people find my videos. And of course, comment below. These Masked Singer videos really live and die by the comments, especially early on in the season. I think we all have down sort of who is under these masks at this point, but always comment and let me know your thoughts on who went home, and who do you think is going to win this whole thing, by the way. I have my guess, and the person I had said in a couple of comments last week with you guys is still in the competition, so it's possible. We'll see. All right, so first up is the Wasp, and of course we're not getting too many real game-changing clues here at this point, just sort of what the journey has been like for them, and maybe a little bit about their past, and then they sing, and then the post-song clue is a phone call from a loved one, giving some words of encouragement, and sometimes there's a little clue in there as well. So for the Wasp, growing up without a consistent definition of what true love looked like, I was left to rely on the stories and sounds surrounding me. I lived life in the fast lane, but love is different in real life. I fell more than a few times, took wrong turns, U-turns, and faced dead ends. But now, for the moment, I have someone riding by my side, so maybe I'm on the right track. So somebody who maybe is not married, but in a fairly committed relationship for the moment. He sings Standing Next to You by Jungkook from BTS. And did a great job. And his phone call was, from what he says, is his best friend and cousin. So it's his cousin, but I guess they, grew up together, very close, so they consider each other best friends. He says, from putting out hits to live theater to starring in one of the biggest shows of the decade, you are doing it. So the guesses from the panel: Rita once again said Mario. She was the first person of the season to say this, which is crazy to me. I don't know if contractually they told Jenny not to say Mario this season or something. Jenny has guessed Mario every season, I think, since the show's been on the air. But this season, Rita is the only one that has guessed it. Usher was talked about by Ken, which actually got some enthusiasm from the crowd. People seem to like that guess. And then Maxwell was talked about as well, this time from Jenny. And look, I chose the Wasp. If I said last week in the comments, in a couple different comments, I said that if I had to pick right now from the final 4, I would say the Wasp probably will win the whole thing. I think he's vocally the best. He is right in that sort of Neo kind of pocket. And I think, am I right? Neo was the masked ambassador for the Wasp, right? I think that's true. Let me see. That was Group B. Yeah, Neo was the masked ambassador. So, I mean, he's got that vibe. Obviously, Neo, wrote his huge hit, Let Me Love You. And he was in one of the big shows of the past decade. I wouldn't say maybe one of the biggest, but certainly was talked about a lot. Empire. He had a recurring role in season 5. He was a main character in season 6. He was in the credits. So that certainly would count for that. Rita pointed out he did Rent, so that's live theater, and obviously putting out hits. We know that part. So my guess for this is Mario as well, and I do think that Wasp could be taking home this trophy. All right, so next up is the Goo, and that is the one that ends up getting unmasked. So we'll talk about the clues, and then we'll go to the take it off before we talk about the other two competitors. He says, I don't do this for a living, and that shocked everybody on the panel, which I don't know if it should have, because it wasn't his masked ambassador, somebody in sports. Yeah, Keenan Allen. So I don't know why they weren't going to sports right away, but for the most part, they've been guessing singers, partially because he has a great voice. But he says, I've always had two passions, singing and what you might know me for in real life. Everyone said I couldn't do both. This show has been a test drive for my other passion. And being here with my fiance by my side has shown me that you can do both. And the song he sings is Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. It's a good tune, but look, vocally, compared to the other songs that people are singing this week, it's not anything that, groundbreaking or fantastic. Look, Johnny Resnick has a great voice, but, is it the voice of Mario? No, I wouldn't say so. But so anyway, the fiance is the one that gives us the phone call. She said, you've melted America's hearts. Haven't been so proud of you since you got that call that changed your life forever. All right, and the guesses from the panel were the same as they were at the end of the show, so we'll just go right to that. So Rita is thinking this could be John Cena, because everybody was going football. She went with another tackle sport, as she called it. They don't really call it tackling in wrestling, I don't think, but she's across the pond, so maybe in England they do call it tackling. I don't know. I feel like they call it like pinning, or there's a lot of wrestling terms. Maybe I don't know. Maybe tackle is one of them, but you got the slam, and I don't know, whatever. But it's not John Cena. Ken said Shaquille O'Neal, which is ridiculous. It's obviously not Shaq. First of all, I don't think he's tall enough. Shaq is like enormous. I don't think the Q is that tall, but Robin said Aaron Donald, who is somebody I have not heard of, but he is on the LA Rams, and that's sort of where we've been thinking. There's been a couple of clues leading us in that direction. So Jenny went with somebody that I think has not been said yet, right? Let me go back and look for the Goo. I don't believe... No, it's been all musicians. John Batiste, Khalid, Johnny Gill, Gerard Butler. Who said that? Not me. All right, well, so this is, I think, who Jenny said it is, Kobe Turner. I had not heard of this person, really, but you guys, put me on to him and said, no, I think this is Kobe Turner. So this definitely, if this is Kobe Turner, this is definitely not one of my first impression guesses. I don't know who I thought from the beginning. I would have to go back and look. But I probably knew that it was a sports star because of the Keenan Allen thing. So I probably guessed somebody that, I don't know, just doesn't make any sense. But at this point, yes, it's definitely Kobe Turner. The clues have all matched up. And tonight, I haven't been so proud of you since you got that call that changed your life forever. Jenny and Robin were both saying, oh, that could be, the draft. So this all makes sense to me. I believe this is Kobe Turner. I'm not sure I'll know what he looks like once the mask is off. But let's see if this is another win. Is it Kobe Turner? Yep, it's NFL defensive end Kobe Turner. Jenny got another one. Jenny's been pretty good this season. She's had a few. Ken got a couple early on, and then Jenny has a few. I don't think Robin's... Wait, was Robin right last week? I think he was. He said Bronson Arroyo. First time he was right in a while. But Jenny got it, finally. Look, the guy can sing. And as we've learned from him in the clue packages... Oh, Jenny was the one who hit the Keep It On bell. Okay. Yeah, we learned from him that he was in a bunch of vocal groups in high school and college. So... yeah, he did a great job.
Every time you hit the stage, I mean, what was this experience like for you? Music has been a huge part of my life.
Yeah, we learned all about his background in that.
My biggest goal, with being an athlete is to be able to show that we're so much more than just athletes. Like, there's so much
all right, that's good. That's good. I'm not a football fan, so I don't really know a lot of them unless they're like huge stars. But look, the guy can sing, and if this opens up the door to something else, then good for him. That's awesome. But look, I think compared to everybody else in the competition who are professional singers, I do think this was the right call. I think it would have been interesting to have an all male finale because Strawberry Shortcake's the only female left. It would have been interesting. But look, I think they made the right call here. So speaking of the Strawberry Shortcake, she was the other one in the bottom two. So when they announced the bottom two, it was the two of them. And for the SmackDown, Goose sang "Hold On, I'm Coming." Great tune. And he did it fine. And then the Strawberry Shortcake sang "Scars to Your Beautiful" by I think that's Alicia Cara, and she did a great job with it. I am glad to see her advance to the final. I don't think she's going to win. I think the top two is going to be Wasp and the Buffalo, personally. But we'll see. In any event, the Strawberry Shortcake, we'll move on to her now. She says, "I've been part of a packaged bunch and never taken the chance to stand on my own." And so she's thinking along the lines of either her TV show castmates or her sister, which she sang with. She said, "My family and friends have been on their own adventures lately, so the call came at just the right time for this show." And she doesn't really say much else in the clue package of note, just kind of about, the journey being there and whatnot. So the song she did was "Closer" by Tegan and Sarah. A good choice, an interesting choice, because it's not a song that everybody knows, certainly. So, she can make it a little bit her own, but also stick pretty close to the original melody without people saying, "Oh, she's just copying," because a lot of people don't really know that song. It wasn't like it was a huge hit, but, certainly a minor hit. And her phone call came from her sister saying, "You are crushing it, and it's been amazing to see you grow over the years. Me and your nephew are rooting for you." So her sister has a kid as well. And the guesses for the panel, these guesses are, except for one, I don't really like them. Katy Perry from Ken, obviously, he's way off again. I think she does have a sister, but that's way, way off. She's never been part of a package bunch. She's always been Katy Perry as a solo artist. Even when she was doing the Katie Hudson stuff on the Christian market, she was still a solo act. So I don't know what he's thinking with that. And then Jenny thought it could be Haley Duff. That's not a bad guess. That's the only guess I kind of like. Obviously, Haley and Hillary Duff, you connect the two of them. Haley is the less successful of the two, so it would make more sense for her to do this show, I think, especially under the conditions of, I've always been more part of a group, and now I'm branching out on my own. And then the guess from Robin was one of the Haim sisters. He specifically said Danielle Haim. Look, I don't think Haim is big enough to be doing this show, to be honest, especially by name. Like, okay, like the Buffalo is Boys to Men, right? We know that. But if it was one of them, would we know them as well, right? If it was like Wanye Morris or something, would we say, "Oh, that's Wanye"? Maybe Boys to Men, just because they're so huge, and ruled the first half of the '90s. But the Haim sisters are not big enough for this show, I don't think. Certainly not to be separate. Now, if they went together, that would be something different, like Wilson Phillips did or whatever. But in any event, I don't like any of these guesses. Nobody this season has said who I have been saying since week one. It is AJ Michalka from Allie and AJ from the Goldbergs and its spinoff Schooled. All of the clues match up, and certainly today with the sister clue and I've been part of a package bunch. This is totally AJ Michalka. This is one of my first impression guesses that I think continues to be correct. So we'll keep it with that. Okay. Now, finally, the Buffaloes, I guess. Both are correct, I found out. I was very adamant that it was Buffalo, but apparently the plural can be either Buffalo or Buffaloes, and they've been calling them the Buffaloes, so I will try and stick with that. All right, so they said, "We've been on a journey that no three friends have ever been on." Not positive that's true with the music scene, but certainly to the success that they've had, maybe that's true. But this show opened us up to being more than friends and brothers. But something happened to one of us years ago that ruined the delicate blend we created. Thought it was the end, but through God's grace, we pulled through it. They sang You're Still the One by Shania Twain, an interesting choice, because certainly not what we would expect from R&B legends. And I thought it was a smart choice because certainly we know it as, a real down-tempo number, a love song from Shania Twain, a bit of twang in there. They did do the pop version as well. So it's got those tones to it. But, originally it was a country song, so there was a lot of, the country guitars and stuff. But I think they really made it their own. And I really didn't see a universe in which the Buffaloes were going home this week. It just didn't make any sense. I thought it was going to be either the Goo or Strawberry Shortcake. So it made sense that they were the bottom two. But anyway, the phone call post-song really was helpful because it was Babyface, one of the most famous R&B producers, probably of all time, but certainly in the past 25 years. He's worked with a lot of greats, and he said, "Never seen you guys look better or more ridiculous, and I wish them good luck." And the guesses from the panel, The Temptations from Robin, that's not a bad guess. I don't think it is them from what I know, of all the other clues, but it's not a terrible guess. Ken's guess, terrible as always, Tony. And I mean, that's just a throwback, kind of a joke. They had a couple of hits, but come on. And then Blackstreet from Rita. Also, they only really had a couple of hits. But you know what? They've been guessed before in other seasons. Robin, I think, has guessed them. So it's possible that someday Blackstreet will be on. But no, look, this is Boys to Men. And somebody did say it on the panel the last time they performed. So it's not unheard of from the panel that this is Boys to Men. But it clearly is. And what they're talking about with the Something Happened That Ruined the Delicate Blend, their fourth member, they were originally a foursome, a quartet, but somebody got sick. I forget. I apologize. Again, see, the individual names of them, I think are not as famous to people as the collective Boys to Men. But one of them got very ill and had to leave the group. And it must have been, when I saw them, it was 2017, I think. Or maybe, I think it was 2017. And they were, I think, a three-piece then. So it happened, years and years ago. But yeah, sure, they had to, kind of come back together and figure out, okay, who's going to do the different parts. Because obviously, when a vocal group goes from 4 to 3, you got to split up the different parts that the lost member is now, not able to sing. So I definitely see that with them. Yeah, Babyface certainly makes sense there. And they even thought it was the end. Now, they didn't do the whole bit and say thought it was the end of the road. That would have been too obvious. But End of the Road, obviously one of their huge smash #1 hits. I think, I could be wrong on this, but just going through my mind, I think if you went back to the Billboard charts of the 90s, I would think Boyz II Men had more weeks at #1 than any other artist. Mariah Carey had a lot of of course, one of them was with Boyz II Men, so maybe Mariah Carey has more weeks. But anyway, One Sweet Day, Boyz II Men and Mariah Carey had it had the record at the time. I think it was 16 weeks or something at #1. And it broke the Boyz II Men record for, I think it was End of the Road, which was, 14 or 15 weeks or something at #1. So, look, superstars, it's awesome to have them on this show. I do believe that this is Boyz II Men. So, look, of the three left, it would be fun to have a group win. A group has never won before. A few of them have gotten fairly close. I think Hanson made it to the merge. But, no group has been, I think, in the final two. So it would be great to have the Buffalo win. But I think it's going to probably be the Wasp. We'll see. I don't know. But so far, I've only missed 2 this whole season. But in terms of first impression guesses, certainly that is lower. But my first impression guess for Wasp was Mario. First impression for Strawberry Shortcake was AJ. And I think my first impression guess for the Buffaloes was Boyz II Men. I'm going to have to go back and look, but I think it was. So, look, if all 3 of my first impression guesses made it to the final, that is pretty good. But so far, I'm 10 for 12 this season, which is also not bad. Thanks to you guys for certainly these sports people and some of the others. But all right, that will do it. Thank you so much for watching Dan Reviews It, and we'll see you next week for more Masked Singer. Bye.